Good afternoon. This is John Pacheco. I'm the chairing the meeting today. It's January 28th, 2026. This is a special meeting of the Management Committee. Having achieved quorum, I will call the meeting to order. And the first on the item in there is approval of agenda. And you've been sent the agenda, and I think for all, if there's no other changes, I would assume we move ahead. And that has been approved. Need the approval of the minutes of January 14th, the Management Committee minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved. Second.
It's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We have a very light agenda today, so we'll just get right at it here. And so our next non-consent item on the agenda, we have business number 2026-24 on the non-consent agenda today. And I will invite Mark Thompson, the Director of Treasury, to come up and present before the committee votes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, committee members. Yes, Mark Thompson, I'm the Treasury Director for the Council. And I'm here to present business item 2026-24, which is regarding the council adopting a resolution to authorize the execution of a loan with the Minnesota Public Facilities Authority to fund approximately 12 to 15 months of capital expenditures. So this is an annual financing we do in conjunction. ES Environmental Services uses bonding this loan and pay as you go for their capital projects. And so this is the final piece of that. The bonding was approved in December, and now we're asking for approval of the resolution to participate in the Clean Water Revolving Fund Loan Program at Minnesota Public Facilities Authority. The loan program offers a subsidized interest rate, which makes it a less expensive financing mechanism for the council, saving interest expenses. The 2025 loan we did last year will be exhausted in February. So we're looking to proceed with the 26 loan, which will close in February. Late February is expected to close. It's a 20-year, $44 million loan, which are both typical size and typical term that we use each year. The resolution 26-1 will authorize the regional administrator to execute a new loan agreement. And it also sets financial parameters, just like we do for our bonding, around the terms of the loan. It dictates that the loan has to close within 90 days. And like I said, we expect it to close in February. It sets the maximum size of the loan at $44 million and sets a maximum interest rate of 4.25%. We expect the rate to be quite a bit lower than that because we get a subsidized rate, as I mentioned. So expecting it to be near 3%, so that we got a little cushion in there. This loan would save us about $3 million in future interest costs at the subsidized rate compared to the council issuing bonds. So, the loans will be paid back with wastewater system revenues. We don't expect to levy for the loan. We do pledge our GO backing on these because we have to issue a GO note to secure the loan as a requirement of the loan. And I guess that's all that I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, Mark? Seeing none. Can I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion made and seconded. Are there any other questions? Seeing no questions, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And the last item here we have is a presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Last item on today's agenda is the data practice annual update presentation. I invite Catherine Olson and Aisha West. What's that?
Oh, Nisha.
Anisha West. All right, thank you for coming to make the presentation. Thank you.
I start? Chair, thank you. Council members. I'm Catherine Olson, Head of Data Practices. This is Misha West, our Data Practices Specialist, and yes, I'm going to hand it over to her to do most of the presentation today.
Chair, committee members, good afternoon. Today I will just be covering some high-level numbers from our work in 2025. So in 2025, we received 848 total requests, which is a 9% increase from the previous year. Of that 848, we were able to complete 730 requests, giving us a 86% completion rate, which is also a 12% increase from the previous year. Requests by divisions remain similar to the previous year. RA continues to receive the bulk of requests coming in. Transit ops and MTPD come in second at 44%, but you'll see that transit ops receives 29% versus the PD and they're 15%. The other groups come in quite a bit less, but they also always keep our work interesting in MTS, ES, and CD. And again, video remains the most requested video type that we see. In transit, it's our internal and external views of our buses and trains. Also our platforms, shelters, stations, park and rides, that is probably the most requested video type we receive. MTS, we get requests for onboard videos, and then also general interior and exterior video from our offices in all buildings.
Sure. Yeah, if it's okay to ask a question at this point, please. Yeah, thanks, Misha. Thanks for this presentation. And so just on you said the transit park rides are probably the most common request, is that?
Transit buses are probably the
Oh,
most,
buses, okay.
yeah, or inside of our trains.
Okay, and is that, if I can ask, Mr. Chair, is that due to behavior crimes being committed and people are looking for evidence or insurance, something to submit to the insurance companies?
I think it's a combination of accidents that happen, people want kind of that proof. There's a lot of crime-related videos where someone left something or they think someone took something from them. There's also just a lot of general inquiry about what's going on the trains or on the buses. And then I think the other major group of videos are related to medical situations that occur on those facilities, on those vehicles.
Well, thank you, thanks, Chair.
So I have a question.
Yes, Councilman.
So you have the largest, the slide before that is, a couple is that businesses make the large amount of requests.
Oh, I'm sorry, I flipped right by that one.
So getting to Councilmember Lenigman's point about, does that encompass, police agencies or, could businesses be broken down a little bit further to get, and I don't know what data subjects mean?
Sure. So data subjects are people that are requesting information about themselves.
Okay.
So as far as video, it's, I was on the bus, I want to see the video of me.
Oh.
Or as it pertains to files, personnel files is another big category that we receive. People wanting to either check their current or previous file. As far as businesses, that classifies requests we receive from businesses that don't fit the other category.
Okay.
So a lot of times it's companies that are trying to become a vendor of ours who have participated in our procurement process but maybe weren't selected, or they're just looking for information in a specific area to try to get data to help with their pitch for a project with us. So businesses really capture businesses trying to do business with us.
Okay, thank you.
I apologize, I skipped right over that, I didn't even notice, so I will turn things over to Catherine.
Thank you. So that kind of summarizes our more external facing work. Most of the time we're doing that request work, which goes outward towards the public and other constituents who seek information held by the council. But we also do some internal work to support knowledge and awareness of data practices, responsibilities more broadly. We want to make sure that staff across the council understand the statutory requirements that exist so that they can comply with those requirements. So this year, our internal efforts focused in 3 areas: training, which I'll talk about in a moment on the next slide, specific project support, and I'll talk about that in just a second, and then also internal connections and awareness. So in terms of specific project support, this year we did 2 kind of really specific things. The first was that the legislature passed a law in 2025 that makes judicial official personal data in real property records private if the judicial official makes a request to have it be private. So that's really specific and unique. So we supported staff across the agency to help them implement that, which that requirement to go into place in January 1 of this year. We worked with the GIS team, which actually holds a lot of real property records. We worked with real estate and enterprise content management and other smaller program areas across the council that access real property records. So the goal was to ensure that we understand what the law requires and help them comply with the law. Also ID who holds real property records across the council so that we can notify them and know what kinds of data are held. And then the third was to create a notice system so that if a judicial official does want to notify the council that they want their records to be private, that they can do that, and then we can broadcast that information out across those various program areas that hold the real property data. That actually is going to be enterprise content management that's going to take on that role. Then one other thing we did in this regard was to reach out to the judiciary and tell them that we do hold real property records, because we had the strong sense that they may not understand that the Metropolitan Council does in fact hold real property records, and if they're reaching out to their counties and other places they expect to hold real property records, they might not realize that it could still be public here unless they tell us. So that was one specific project. The other one is actually about the videos that we talked about just a moment ago. We worked with staff and leadership across the council to talk about a specific subset of videos, which is facility videos, and talking about how to manage and classify those. We have videos on our buses, our platforms, and also on all our buildings and in our parks and rides. So we talked about how to classify those uniformly across ES, transit, and other spaces. And what we landed on is that facility videos in publicly accessible areas are generally going to be classified as public, so anyone could make a data request and access those videos. Cameras in other areas that are not generally accessible to the public, such as those that you might need badge access to enter, or just not generally accessible to the public, are there for the reason of safety and security. And because that is the reason the cameras are there, we worked with the regional administrator to make a classification that those interior videos that are not generally accessible to the public would not be public, and they are in fact classified as non-public security information. So those were our 2 special projects this year. In terms of internal connections and awareness, we wanted staff to be able to reach out to us with questions and issues, and in order to be able to do that, they have to know we exist. So in 2025, in June, we hosted a data practices open house to celebrate that we had completed 1,500 data requests since the office was founded. Obviously, we were there for celebration, but a primary goal of that open house, in my mind, was to reach out and let people know that we're here. So we thought we had good attendance, lots of interest, and follow-up questions and projects as a result of that. And we're planning to continue that kind of outreach so that the staff know that our office is here to support them going forward. The other big thing we did internally was data practices training, and the biggest part of that was council-wide data practices training. This year, we required for all current staff, we required them to take a data practices training. It was called intermediate data practices training because it followed up on the records management training that was basic data practices training. So all knowledge worker staff, people who work with documents, databases, communications of any kind, were required to take this training. And we had a 96% completion rate on that, so almost 1,800 staff members were trained this year in data practices training. That training was also instituted in 2025 as part of the onboarding training. So all onboarding staff took that training as well, and going forward, as new staff come on, they will take that training. It just basically covered what are the laws, what do they mean, what is this concept of data classification, and what are those classification levels and how do we apply them. We talked a little bit about data requests and then data practices responsibilities. We also did some specialized training for ES and also for the engineering and facilities unit in Metro Transit, and we'll continue that kind of targeted training in 2026 as well. And that's our update for 2025.
Members? Yes, Councilor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Couple questions. One, and what's on tap for 2026? And two, I guess I'd be curious, and maybe it's just later time this year or something, is what kind of data retention policies does the council have? Because that can be, and what kind of training do people get on data retention as well?
Sure.
'Cause that's-
So for the specific training that I know of already this year, we're gonna be working with the police records unit and also with the audits team to do some training for them, and probably would like to circle back to HR as well. And then we'll look to see who else reaches out to us to see what they wanna hear about. We're also gonna be working on updating our internal procedures on data practices. That was a goal for last year that needed to be postponed for various reasons, so would hope to get that done this year. In terms of records retention, the group that's primarily responsible for that is the Enterprise Content Management Group. And the records retention schedules are all posted on the internal MetNet page, so staff can see what records retention schedules exist and follow them and apply them within their program units. And I know that ECM is very close working with those groups, and in fact, just last week had a new records retention schedule approved that I believe is council-wide. So I'm hoping that that kind of knowledge and awareness can get out through ECM soon.
And just to follow up to that, is that part of the records retention, is there an occasional audit of that to make sure that records that don't need to be retained are actually purged and not kept, which is usually people default to that as opposed to, we don't need to keep those, they need to be moved out. So that system should be audited as well.
It's a good question. I can't answer myself.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Councilors, I can comment that. Our Enterprise Content Management Group does a really good job of not only making sure that there's an audit process to make sure that what should be discarded is.
That's the big thing.
But it's also to go back to take a look at what is the retention period, and is that still something that makes sense? The way we store data changes, so they want to make sure that that policy stays up to date as well. So we actually just went through this, like you said.
Yeah.
Over the last few months. I know that I was questioned about some of the data that comes out of risk management back in the day. So it is something that our department does a really good job of staying on top of.
Perfect,
Yeah.
thank you.
Mark?
So I've got a question and then a comment afterwards. The question is, you talked about GIS and personal data. We have agreements with a lot of our stakeholders, a lot of our communities on sharing GIS data. How do we work with those partners? I mean, do we have to look at the data they give us as well as the data we provide them? Can you tell a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this is a brand new law, and a lot of knowledge and awareness will be growing about it over the year. In fact, I know that there's gonna be a sort of a statewide training coming up in February for people who want more information and knowledge about that. But in general, we receive data from the counties. The counties already have the obligation to apply any notices they got. So whatever we get from them will have that notice applied, is my understanding. So if a judicial official notified a county, the hope is that it would not get passed to us. So our main concern about making sure that judicial officials notify us is that they may not know that our real estate office or other parts of the agency might have data as well that would need to be protected as well.
Okay,
Hopefully
cool,
that
thank
answers
you.
your question.
That does.
Yeah.
And then my follow-up, my comment, I was very fortunate early in my term to to have the need to help a citizen do a data request themselves. So I was very fortunate to learn from the best and got to sit in on a data request for a constituent who was blind. And so Catherine, thank you for helping me learn about the process and helping our constituent through doing a data request. You can do them online. It was just easier, and honestly, it was an opportunity for me to learn as well to do it with Catherine's help, so thank you.
I appreciate it. Yes, our online form is the way you're supposed to normally submit data requests, but we do have the ability for people with accessibility needs of various kinds to just call us up and make a data request if needed.
Well, I'm gonna add something here. I have a question, actually. Does this have anything to do with our phones that are Met Council issued? Are you tracking, or can you track, and how long do you track the information that's available on our phones?
Committee Chair, I am not personally tracking. That might be a better question for IS. What do you think, Nisha?
Yes, our office does not personally track that, and I think I've had a handful of requests for recorded calls, but those have all been over at Transit, where that's a more, I think it's more expected for those calls to be recorded with like the TCC. But as far as like everyone, like little headset calls, I'm not aware if those are actually retained in any way.
Good thing I have Phil here ready to answer.
Well, Mr. Chair, committee members, I wouldn't say I'm an expert on this, but I would, the information that you have on your phones, like the Teams and the emails, it's same as if on the desktop it's with their Office 365, so the same retention policy and data that goes to our computers. Like if you receive an email, you look at it at your phone, it's the same kind of criteria and policy that would respond to that. But in terms of the calls, we can find that out. I'm not sure about that.
You look like you have a question.
The question, I have a comment, but I don't want to say what the link's on.
Any other question, comments? Now you're ready. No?
I'll wait till we're adjourned.
Okay.
Mr.
All
Chair,
right.
can I just make one quick
Yeah.
comment? So I'm not quite sure the exact year when this office was formed, but this is a great example of the work that's done behind the scenes at regional administration that I can tell you before this office was put together with an OGC, it was all over the board and it was very difficult to handle these requests. So the work that they've done in a very short period of time, to Councilmember Jenkins' testimony about how helping a constituent, it's really been helpful, and it's something that not everyone sees, but it really does help us do our business and helps the divisions do what they need to do. So I just wanted to commend what Catherine and Nisha have done and everyone else in OGC for that. So.
All right, thank you. Seeing no other questions here, this is the last agenda item, so I would adjourn this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Nice to see you in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That
Turn off
wouldn't
your
be
mic.
right.